If you're a fan of all things Marvel like us, one of your favorite things to do is rewatch all of their movies and television shows, hunting for unexpected shoutouts to the comic books that inspired the characters. These are called Easter eggs, and the MCU is full of them. They can be hard to find, but CBR is here to help you impress your friends with your deep knowledge of all of the best secrets the creators hide in the background. Finding Easter eggs can be hard, but getting the help is easy. Just subscribe to CBR and let our playlist lead the way.
You ever tried shawarma? There's a shawarma joint about 2 blocks from here. I don't know what it is, but I want to try it.
We're not finished yet.
Shawarma place. Nowadays, every film has to have 1, 2, or even 5 credit-interrupting moments. Some are teases, some are Easter eggs, and some are just weird. For example, Earth's mightiest heroes chowing down on a post-battle snack of shawarma. Needing nourishment after saving the planet is a decent idea, but where did Tony Stark get the hankering for a hunk of vertically grilled meat?
And then shawarma after.
During the climactic battle of 2012's The Avengers, Iron Man takes a laser blast to the chest. As he stumbles backwards, Shawarma Palace can be seen in the background. It's the same eatery the team reassembles at for their victory meal. Tony's a master multitasker, so it's totally plausible that he caught a quick glance during the melee. It's a blink and you miss it moment, but the best part of the Easter eggs is the hunt. The scene was shot 1 year after filming ended on The Avengers. Director Joss Whedon decided to shoot it after the film's premiere. One problem: Captain America, Chris Evans, had a full beard for another movie. While everyone else simply slipped on the spandex, Evans had to endure 4 hours of makeup. He's also the only Avenger who didn't get lunch that day, as he's forced to sit and not move in an attempt to cover up his hairy situation.
They call me the Human Torch. Ladies call me Torch.
The original Human Torch. Speaking of Chris Evans, he's one of the few actors to have multiple sets of superhuman powers on the silver screen. Evans starred as Johnny Storm, better known as the Human Torch, for 2 films featuring the Fantastic Four just over a decade ago.
That's not going away anytime soon.
Now he's beating up bad guys as Captain America for the Marvel Cinematic Universe. In his first outing as the shield-slinging superhero in Captain America: The First Avenger, the 2 worlds combined into one nifty Easter egg. When a still skinny Steve Rogers and his pal James Bucky Barnes visit the World Exposition of Tomorrow early in the film, their plans are to check out some cool future tech courtesy of Howard Stark. However, what they missed when walking in was a quick appearance of the original Human Torch, an android referred to as the Synthetic Man. Dr. Phineas T. Horton, referenced by name above the robot encased in glass, is the creator of an android that becomes the Human Torch after an accident. The android eventually took the name of Jim Hammond, and the character spent many years fighting alongside Captain America in the comic books. In fact, he was a member of the superhero squadron called the Invaders, consisting of Cap, Bucky, Namor, and others.
Can you understand me? Can you speak?
Don't forget Ferrigno, it ain't easy being green. If you want to find an expert on that, look no further than Lou Ferrigno, the first person to personify the angrier side of Bruce Banner. From the late 70s to the early 90s, Ferrigno portrayed the Incredible Hulk for a short-lived TV series and several made-for-TV movies. When the mean and green one got his shot at the silver screen in 2003's Hulk, directed by Ang Lee, it was decided that CGI was the only way to properly convey the size and sheer mass of the Hulk. Thankfully, they didn't forget about the OGG, the original green guy. Ferrigno played a security guard in Hulk, sharing the screen with the master of Marvel cameos, Stan Lee.
Good morning, Dr. Francois. Security ought to be beefed up a lot more in a place like this.
He turned up again in The Incredible Hulk, possibly portraying the same security guard, and is bribed with pizza by Bruce Banner, played by Ed Norton.
You are the man.
God bless you, brother.
As with the director before him, Joss Whedon also hooked Lou up with a cameo in The Avengers. Ferrigno did voice work for the film, providing all the grunts, huffs, and smashes that the Hulk delivers.
You think you're the only superhero in the world? Mr. Stark, you become part of a bigger universe. You just don't know it yet.
Map to the superhero stars. Nick Fury did a survey of superheroes, putting a pin on their locations. During the end of Iron Man 2, it seems Marvel had plans for many superhero movies. As Tony Stark, played by Robert Downey Jr., is recruited by S.H.I.E.L.D.'s top cop Fury, Samuel L. Jackson, to begin the Avengers initiative, in the background is a map of the world with locations that directly tie into the MCU. There's a marker over New Mexico where Thor's hammer Mjolnir is first found. Also one on New York, the eventual hotspot for the Chitauri in the Avengers. On the other side of the world, we see the first mention of a Black Panther in the MCU, as a marker is on Africa, surely a reference to Wakanda. There's also a spot on Greenland, the site of a long-lost plane from World War II and a frozen Captain America. One special spot that has yet to be introduced in the MCU is a spot over the Atlantic Ocean. We can only assume that it's the location of Atlantis, home of Namor the Submariner.
We've housed the galaxy's largest collection of fauna, relics, and species of all manner.
Who let the dog out? Most people agree that dogs make great pets. In Marvel Comics, they also make a fantastic chief of security for the floating head of a godlike being. This particular canine cosmonaut has been a member of the Guardians of the Galaxy, but has only been seen as an Easter egg in the movies. Cosmo the space dog is a former Soviet test animal that became lost in space during a mission. He ended up somewhere called Nowhere, the giant head of a celestial, the oldest entities in Marvel Comics. This space station of sorts serves as an outpost for those who don't want to be found, and for those who want to cause trouble. While drifting through space, the dog acquired several powers, including telekinesis and telepathy. The pooch with powers is shown twice in the first movie. Once as we first meet the Collector, Tannelir Tavan. The dog, still in his Russian spacesuit, is trapped behind glass, part of the Collector's growing exhibit. He's shown again during the post-credits scene, showing some affection to the Collector after his collection was blown to smithereens. He also makes a very quick appearance in the credits of the film's sequel, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2.
Daniel, I see they made you master of this sanctum.
You know what that means?
Bang the drum. While Guardians of the Galaxy tells the tales of the cosmic corner of the Marvel Universe, Doctor Strange fairly faithfully gives us a peek at the more mystical aspects of Marvel. It also set up a major character in the world of Doctor Strange, in a most subtle way. Brother Voodoo is a powerful practitioner of voodoo in the comics. His real name is Jericho Drum. At one point, he even replaces Stephen Strange as Sorcerer Supreme. It won't be a surprise to see Brother Voodoo show up sooner or later in the MCU, especially since they killed off his brother in the first movie. One of Brother Voodoo's supporting characters in the comics is the ghost of his brother, Daniel Drum. Daniel hasn't quite accepted his death and follows his brother around, helping in all sorts of magical mishaps. In the movie, Caecilius enters the New York Sanctum Sanctorum and kills its current master. He's only referred to as Daniel at the time. Later, when the Ancient One tells Doctor Strange he will take over the New York building, she tells him he'll be taking it over from Master Drum.
Master Drum is in the foyer.
So they've already created a dead Daniel Drum who could easily embrace his ghostly form in the sequel.
You're no match for the mighty!
Doctor of Thunder. Superheroes need alter egos. It allows them to live a normal life, without evil villains constantly interrupting family game night with their nefarious plans. Thor, the god of freaking thunder, sometimes has another identity in the comics, beginning with his very first story. Similar to the 2011 movie from Marvel Studios, the first comic about Thor begins as he's receiving banishment from Asgard by the Allfather and his father, Odin. While the film merely takes away his power, the comic placed Thor in the body of a Harvard-educated physician with a bum leg named Donald Blake.
His name is Donald Blake?
Dr. Donald Blake.
He lived for 10 years without knowing his true self, only discovering it while stumbling upon a cane in a cave in Norway. The cane just happened to be Mjolnir in disguise. While the movie gave Thor an easier origin to digest and less shirts to wear, it pays homage to the comic roots by giving Thor, played by Chris Hemsworth, a fake identity. It's referenced early on in the film when Jane gives the new-to-Earth Thor a tiny t-shirt with the name tag of an ex-colleague, Donald Blake, MD. The name sticks, as Dr. Eric Selvig tells S.H.I.E.L.D. that a drunken Dr. Blake was responsible for whooping their best recruits.
Can you make something for me out of it?
You want a suit? Like Mr. Fisk?
No, I want something very special.
Are you not entertained? Marvel isn't only dominating at the box office. With their shows about the street-level superheroes on Netflix, they're owning the small screen too. All of the shows have their share of Easter eggs, though none more gratuitous than teasing the appearance of a Daredevil supporting character named Gladiator. In the series, Melvin Potter makes Matt Murdock a suit that will help strike fear into the criminals of Hell's Kitchen. Potter often references his past errors, along with how he used to outfit villains. Thankfully, he's out of that game, for now. In the comics, his background is very similar, including reforming with the help of a social worker named Betty. His costume consists of blue-green armor, and he has a penchant for using saw blades as his weapons. During their first meeting on the show, Melvin uses a saw blade to fight off Daredevil. In the second season, hints dropped even harder, having Melvin worked on his own suit in a familiar shade of blue and green. Plus, Potter's workshop is filled with nods to characters good and bad in the comics, including a character we hope makes it to the Netflix show, Stiltman. The character's ridiculously long legs and chest plate can be seen in the background of his workshop. Hopefully he'll show up when the Defenders debut this fall.
Buckled in?
Yeah. No, I'm good.
I'm good, Arrow Guy. Let's go, let's go!
When Arrow Guy met Ant Dude. In a movie filled with stunning visuals and moments straight from the comics, one of the coolest scenes in Captain America Civil War was the superhero showdown at a German airport. Watching Cap battle Iron Man, Falcon vs. War Machine, Vision fights Scarlet Witch, and many more left audiences' jaws on the floor. Plus, they introduced Spider-Man to the MCU, kicking fan excitement for Spider-Man Homecoming into overdrive. Even though seeing Spidey and Iron Man together was awesome, one team-up hit the bullseye for longtime fans of Marvel Comics. A recreation of a famous comic cover showing a tender moment when Hawkeye met Ant-Man, and then shot him across the battlefield. When Ant-Man, Paul Rudd once again donning the shrinking suit and the role of ex-con Scott Lang, showed up for Team Cap, not many took him seriously.
Oh, you're gonna have to take this into the shop.
Who's speaking?
It's your conscience. We don't talk a lot these days.
After he started wreaking havoc inside of Iron Man's armor, they knew he might fight bigger than his small stature. Getting inside Stark's suit was going to be tricky, and it's obvious that the film's directors, the Russo brothers, looked no further than the iconic cover of Avengers number 223 from artist Ed Hannigan and Klaus Janson. The scene in the movie is almost an exact copy of the iconic cover.
You know what I think is really cool? This webbing. The tensile strength is off the charts. Who manufactured that?
I did.
Is there a genius in the house? Speaking of the wall crawler, everything about the newest entry into the Marvel movie machine, Spider-Man Homecoming, seems on point and poised to break box office records. They're bringing back a teenage Peter Parker, keeping the character true to the comic book origins. Spidey joining forces with the MCU took a lot of behind-the-scenes conversations and some serious moolah. To make sure that all fans know that the movie is connected to the Marvel Cinematic Universe, director John Watts hid dozens of Easter eggs for fans to find upon repeated viewings. We'll give you one for free. A nice homage to the geniuses in the Marvel Universe before Peter Parker joined, including Papa Stark and the Incredible Hulk. Parker has always been smart and admires those he considers brilliant. One of those is obviously Tony Stark. Based off background shots of Peter's school in the movie, so do his teachers and classmates. In a hallway, a mural has been painted with many faces, one of them being Tony Stark's dearly departed father and big fan of Captain America, Howard Stark. In another scene, Peter seems distracted in class. As the teacher gets his attention, the last in a row of photos in the background is a nice shot of Mark Ruffalo's Dr. Bruce banner.
That was awesome!
So what's your favorite Easter egg? Let us know in the comments below. If we tried to show you every hidden tidbit in every Marvel movie or TV show, this video would be hours long. Thankfully, we have a ton of great videos highlighting more superhero secrets. Like this video, subscribe to our channel, and use our playlist to help you get started on your hunt. Thanks for watching!